Now it took me 8 minutes to walk down to the beach, so I sped this up a little bit. But make sure you subscribe to Life of Gaz to see the latest of all my fishing videos, which I stick on here.
Hi guys, welcome to Life of Gaz. Now I'm going to try and put a dismal August behind us. It's September, the middle of it now. I've just come down here to the beach for a few hours, just fishing over low water into darkness. I've got one punched out here about 200 yards. Obviously I had to wade out a bit of a way to get there, and that's going to have some big baits on, which I'll just leave out there as a sleeper, see if there's any dogfish or rays about. And then the other, I'm going to be fishing on fresh worm, which I dug last night, which is again a 3-hook flapper rig with a range of hook sizes, to see if I can winkle any one of these fish out of the water tonight.
Well, what a difference. I've only been here about maybe 15 minutes and I was already starting to get those first little rattly bites just as the sun went over the horizon. And it didn't take long to get a proper pull down. Now I was resetting my other rod at this stage because it just dragged out, and that was with a big clump of weed. But I struck into it and felt straight away there was something on there, and then it went slack and I thought whatever picked it up had dropped off. But I carried on reeling in, and to my surprise, coming up through the surf was the first fish of the night. Why this was such a surprise was because this was a sole. Now the sole I normally fish for with very small hooks, and this fish took a 4-0 hook fair and square in the mouth on fresh black worm. Not only was I surprised that I caught a sole on a 4-0 hook, but also I was surprised that I caught one this late in the year. I've never had them this late in the year before, so hopefully that's a good sign for the years to come. Turns out as well to be a new PB for me. This sole come in at 34 centimeters and weighed in at 14.1 ounces, and believe me, I was happy to see him. Now this one also came home from me tea as well, and at some point I'll put a catch it, cook it, eat it for sole up on here on YouTube. Now after opening the account with that sole, it didn't take me long to get another bite. As soon as we were past low water, I started to get lots of little twitchy bites, and then turned one of them into a fish just there. And one of the things I love about fishing so close to the water's edge is the fact that I can bring the fish in, unhook them, and then release them as quick as I can to make sure that they go back to the sea as fit and healthy and in the best condition possible. And one of the things I noticed when I picked up this whiting, apart from the fact he'd also taken a 4-0 hook fair and square in the mouth on black worm, was the fact that these fish are actually starting to look quite thin, which is a bit worrying for the winter coming up. And away he goes, off to be caught when he's a bit bigger. Now back over to the other rod that I'd left out as a sleeper. I'd had 2 casts with this rod. One had sand eel and squid on it, didn't get anything on it, but lots of anglers I've spoke to up and down the coast have not picked up anything on sand eel and squid all year, and that's been the same story for me. But I did change the bait over to mackerel and squid wraps, and that mackerel and squid wrap had been out there for quite a while on an up and over rig, and that was really out there to see if there are any dogfish or rays about, and I was quite pleased to pick up a bite. Now when that fish was out there, what I'd done was I waded out, cast out as far as I could, come back in, and as the tide was pushing in, I was then moving back with it and taking the clutch off, so it ended up being around about, I estimate, about 270 yards out before I'd even picked up a bite on it, and it took me around about 3 minutes to reel this fish in over that distance. So of course I'm not going to play this in real time, I'm going to speed it up a bit and bring that fish in a bit quicker. Now once the fish got close to the shore, I could see straight away the telltale little glow in the eye, and that tail wagging, it is a dogfish. Don't get me wrong, I'm happy to catch any fish, even dogfish, whiting, and even weavers occasionally as well. But to be fair, I was secretly hoping for a ray. Now when I'm fishing for fish like this, I always try and use a long shank, fairly large hook, which often means that I can get to the top of the hook without having to go down the fish's throat. But luckily this guy, he'd only taken the hook down a little way and he was hooked just in the scissors in the side of the mouth. And this made for a nice quick unhook, very quick look at him, and then sticking him back in the water to let him swim off back into the sea. But he did look a little bit disorientated, turned around and come back towards the shore, so I had to pick him up, turn him round and send him off again. And this time there was no problems. He turned his nose to the west and headed back out to the deeper part of the sea. And after the dogfish on the sleeper, I decided to tidy that rod up. And the reason being, the tide was starting to come in quick, and really I'm getting pushed back about every 5 minutes. But I did have one more fish, and you're going to see him coming in now. And again, for some reason, the fish seem to be loving that 4-0 I've got up on the top hook. I was fishing a 3-hook flapper rig on this rod, and the bottom 2 hooks never got touched, but the top hook managed to pick out all 3 fish caught on it. And to close the account off tonight, we got the final fish. This fish was caught on that fresh worm which I dug on the beach the night before, and the final fish of the night was another whiting. But just like the other whiting, this one also looked a bit skinny, but no worries, he went back to the sea fitting well, and hopefully he'll chub up a bit and I'll catch him when he's around about a pound somewhere. And just behind me highlights the dangers of low water, and especially in the dark, because it's hard to imagine how fast that water comes in until you turn around and see how far out you really are.
Well guys, I hope you enjoyed that. That was more fish in 2 hours than I had in all of August, so that's a thumbs up from me there. Well, last night the battery died and that was helpful, but where was I? If you like this video, make sure you hit the subscribe button down here and check out some of my other videos, my last fishing video there, and my playlist up here.